Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I thought it was time to do a little bit of a haul. Today this arrived, which is a huge package from Scifier, and I thought I would do a little unboxing of this. But before that, I guess I'm going to show you all the books that I got since January. And I didn't realize, but it's been a few. Okay, these aren't really in any order. There isn't really any rhyme or reason for it. So let's just start with the first one. And that is a book that I got for my birthday from my sister, and that is So Let Them Burn by Camilla Cole. I can't wait to get to this one. It sounds so good. It has dragons in it. It has a war that has been fought. This is basically the aftermath of that. There's a peace meeting, something happens that isn't supposed to happen, and the main character, who was the hero of the war, is now very conflicted about what to do next, because the person that can bring this whole thing down is her sister, and her sister is bonded to a dragon, something that is not supposed to happen. Can't wait for this. Heard great things about it, and I hope to get to this one soon. The next book I have here is What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. This is a mix of Death on the Nile and The Mummy, which is something that I love. Can't wait to get to this one, especially since I have an Egypt trip planned for this year, so I need to get to this one. It has a mystery, it is historical, it takes place in Cairo. There is a girl who is born in Buenos Aires, and her parents get lost and are presumed dead in Cairo, and she goes and tries to find out what happened to them. There is a magical ring, apparently, that is activated once she gets to Cairo, and whatever happens after that, I'm guessing chaos. This next book I've already read, and that is Everyone on This Train is a Suspect by Benjamin Stevenson. This I had to read immediately. I loved the book that came before this one, that is Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone, and if you like that one, this one is a treat as well. This is following the same main character, Ernie, who after having a bit of trouble with his family is now very happily concentrating on getting his writing career off the ground. And when he is invited to a bookish conference with other crime writers, he is just so happy to go along, and this takes place on a train. And everything seems to be going great until one of the authors drops dead, and nobody really knows who could have done it. Well, there are a few suspects, mainly the authors who know how to kill someone and get away with it. The next book I have is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. This is a book that I read and loved last year. I finished this, I think, in December, and I just enjoyed this so much that I knew I had to get a physical copy for this. And it's been a while since I read it, so let me see if I can get it together. This is about a kingdom where the people are divided in people who have powers, like magical abilities, and people who don't. And the main character actually doesn't really have a power, but she is trying to survive in this cutthroat world by pretending that she has powers. And when her paths cross that of someone in power, she is dragged basically to the forefront of this huge competition that she has no way of knowing how to win. Really enjoyed this one, so I'm glad I have this physical copy of it now. The next book is also something that I had to start right away, and I've already finished reading it, and that is Voyage of the Damned by Frances White. Oh, sorry about the glare. This is about a ship that is launched. There are 12 heirs on it, and one of them turns up dead, and the 12 heirs are the only ones who could have done it. This is about a country that is divided into 12 sectors, and every sector has a ruler and of course an heir. And once the heir to the last sector is born, all of them go on this voyage in order to do a ritual and become the leaders of their sector. All of them have different powers that they are granted by the gods, and what nobody knows is that one of them is lying about that. He doesn't really have any powers. He just wants to survive this voyage and have nothing to do with the rest of these people, but it turns out someone dies and someone on the ship has to have done it. The next book on my list is something that arrived only yesterday, and it's so beautiful. And that is A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. This is such a beautiful copy. It has these runes under the dust jacket, and this is by an auto-buy author from me. I loved her ever since I've read the Dark Shore series, and I'm so happy that that series is actually getting a final book. I've been waiting so long for this. You might know her from the Bridge Kingdom series. I still have to read the second book in that series and then continue on with the companion novels, but of course I had to get her newest one. This is, I believe, about Norse mythology and Vikings, all that kind of fun stuff. I don't know much else, and I don't really want to know more. I just want to go in. I know that she writes fantastic characters, and her conflicts and her wars and her magic systems are always on point. So if you haven't read anything by this author yet, please do. She has a couple of series out and they're all amazing so far. The next book that I have here is one, again, that I've already read before buying the physical copy, but I just had to have it. And that is The Serpent in the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadband. And this is the start of a series that was, I think, self-published for a while and has now been picked up and been published by Tor. And this is basically for everyone who likes vampires and also the male interests of Akatar with their wings, because this is about a country that is ruled by vampires with wings, and there are different kinds of vampires, but the main character is actually not a vampire. She is human. She was adopted by the vampire king and has been trying to survive this landscape ever since. She's desperate to get more power, and the only way to do that is to take part in a competition where in the end the goddess of death grants the winner a wish. So she takes part, and there are alliances that she has to go into, and there is a great love interest. I love the characters in this one. I love the banter, I love the slow burn, I love the enemies to lovers. It has everything that I need. Reading this felt like when I was first reading Fourth Wing, that I couldn't put it down. I really wanted to know more about this world, and I just love the kick-ass heroine in this one. So pick it up if you haven't already. This next one is one where I kind of went overboard, because one of the rules that I put up for myself is that I shouldn't buy a sequel if I haven't read the first book, and yet I did it. So the next one is Stardust in Their Veins by Laura Sebastian. This is the sequel to Castles in Their Bones, which is a book that I am currently reading, but I've been currently reading it for a couple of months, and I seem to always put it down and not continue, even though I enjoy it. Maybe it's not like one of my new favorites, but I enjoy it enough because of the characters and the setup of the whole thing, which is that there are three sisters, triplets, and they have been groomed basically by their mother to infiltrate other countries and bring them down from within. And we follow them as they marry into these other families and are for the first time away from the influence of their mother and what they do with that. And I'm enjoying it enough, and I love these covers, that I thought I would just get the second one so that I can swoop in and continue reading this once I finish the first one. It hasn't happened yet that I finished the first one, so, but I mean, rules are there to be broken, and that's what I did with this one, and I have no regrets. Next, I have another sequel. With this one, I have read the first one and I loved it, and that is Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. This is the sequel to Divine Rivals, which I read last year and I loved. This is about a kingdom that is at war, which has a kind of World War II feeling to it, and we follow a young woman whose brother went missing at the front, and she herself works at a newspaper trying to find out more about what happened to him, and is in competition for a new position with another writer that she despises. She doesn't really like him, she doesn't like his attitude, but what she doesn't know is that they are actually in communication already. They know each other because when they're both at home, they have these typewriters that are magically linked, and they keep sending each other letters. So this is kind of a magical way of going about like the "you've got mail" trope, which I'm here for. Next, I have The Hurricane Wars by Thea Guanzon. Sorry if I mispronounced that. I don't know much about this and I don't think I've heard too many people talk about this. This is a story about literally light and darkness. So there's dark magic in the world, which is basically the Night Shadow King who's trying to overthrow everyone. And there used to be, I think, like light magic that was supposed to keep him in check, but it hasn't been seen in a very long time. And now the main character has to keep the secret that she in fact has this power. I do hope the synopsis is right, because I'm not actually sure, but that's kind of what I think about when I think about this book. So don't come at me if that's totally wrong. So next we have another sequel. I seem to have gone wild with the sequels, and I'm hoping that I can actually sit down and read them before forgetting the plot of the first one. So this one is the sequel to Godkiller, and that is Sunbringer by Hannah Canna. And this takes place in a world where there are many gods. Basically, whenever there is a lot of need for a certain type of god, or if a lot of people are believing in this god, he starts to exist and is given power. Sometimes more, sometimes less. And of course there are like the big deities that are almost all powerful. Now, these can't really be tamed. They're not really nice gods, and a couple of years ago, the new young king decided that he wants nothing to do with them. He declared that all gods should be killed. So there are now god killers out there who go about and kill these gods, which is of course a very difficult and very dangerous game to play. We follow one of these god killers who is out for revenge and is happy to kill any god that comes her way because a god killed her family. And then we also have a couple of other people who all kind of need to go to this one city where there are still gods roaming around. They all travel there together, and it's an amazing book. If you like T. Kingfisher, for example, you're gonna like this one, and I enjoyed the last one so much that I knew I had to get this one and see where this one takes me. It has such a very unique way of going about gods, and the writing style is just also very unique, and I really liked it. So really hope that I get to this one soon. The next two books that I have here are German, so I'm just gonna quickly mention them to you. This one is Infernas by Melanie Lane. King of Ash is the first book in this series, and this is a romantasy series about a demon world that exists next to ours. And a long time ago there was a war between these demons, and I think they're called daemons, so it's not really demons, but let's go with the demons. So these demons and witches in our world were at war, and they decided that in order to not destroy each other, they would have to separate these worlds, and that's what happened. But now there seems to be like a leak. Someone actually came into our world and kidnapped the main character. A couple of years ago, she made a deal with one of the demons, and now he is there to claim his price for this thing that he granted her, and now she has to go into this other dimension, into this other world, and work for him. Not sure where else this is going, but it sounded so good. I really just needed to have this one on my shelves. Next we have Fallen Princess by Mona Kasten. This is also, I think, the first in a new series by her. She's a very well-known author in Germany, but I actually don't think I've ever read anything by her. This is, I think, for people who like Curious Tides and vice versa. So this is about a academy where everybody has magic, but the main character discovers that she actually has darker magic than she expected, which is not a good thing in this instance. So she is trying to hide this and also learn more about this magic before it can hurt her or anybody else. I don't need to know more. I already like it. And then I have two books, and I swear these are the last books before we get to the Scifier haul. So these I picked up in a charity shop, and the first one is A Man Called Ove. This is the German edition of this. I saw the movie, really enjoyed it, and I've read other things by this author, by Frederick Bachmann, and I really enjoy his writing style. He just knows exactly how to capture my attention and keep it, and he knows how to break my heart, basically. This is about a man who is determined to take his own life, and he decided on it. He put everything in motion, but while he's doing that, there's a knock on the door and he's disturbed basically by his neighbors who don't know what he's up to, and they kind of drag him out of his shell and into the life that he is so desperate to leave. And maybe he learns that there is more to life than ending it. And then I found for like $4, I found the third book in the Aragon series. It's not called Aragon series, it's called Inheritance series. It's called Brizinger by Christopher Paolini. Never read the first one, I still have it on my shelves, but I couldn't pass this up. I just couldn't. I mean, could you? And Aragon is about a young man in a magical world who finds a dragon egg, it hatches, and everything that happens after that. Okay, those are the books that I hauled over the last 2 months. But now let's go to my Scifier order and unbox it. I'm really bad at this, but it's also packaged up really well. There you go. I really wanted these books to arrive safely. Just gonna put it down here. Ooh, lots and lots of packaging, which is great. Okay, I can't even see. Ooh. Oh my god, there are so many bookmarks. I love it. This one, I like this one. Maybe this one. There's a goat. Ooh, cat. Okay, these are kind of cute. I don't think I'm gonna use most of these, but it's fun that they were in there with my order. Wait. Okay, let me just... I'm gonna hate myself later for just doing this, but I want my books. These are packaged so well. Oh my god. Okay, you guys need to see how they package. It's a huge box, but the books are only like in the middle, and outside there is this package material. It took so much care. I love it. First book that I have here is Love Will Tear Us Apart by C.K. McDonnell. This is the third book in the series. The first one is The Stranger Times, which is a paper that publishes articles about supernatural beings, and the people that write these articles don't really believe in them, but after what happened in the first one, they are starting to be believers. Let's just go with that. Very, very big on British humor. If you like that sort of thing, go for it. And this is actually a used copy, and it looks brand new. I paid like $4 for this. Like what? What? By the way, this is the first time that I'm using Scifier because I was tempted by Gavin, who had like a 10% discount link. Thank you for that, Gavin, because I treated myself. I put this order in on my birthday, and like I said, it looks like everything is in great condition. So love this. First book down. Another one that I've already read and loved, and I've been meaning to get a physical copy, and that is A Psalm for the Wild Build by Becky Chambers. First time I read this, wasn't such a big fan. Second time I read this, oh my god, I loved it. There are so many good quotes. I'm sorry if you can hear the construction outside. This is one of the books where it matters when you read it, because I can see people not liking this because I didn't in the beginning, or wanting more plot. This is about a world where a long time ago robots and machines came to life, and instead of destroying mankind like so many other stories tell it, these robots just had one wish. They didn't want to interact with mankind, and they went off into the wild and were never seen again until now. And this one robot, who is just so dear to me, he's one of my favorite characters. He meets a tea monk who is just trying to live their life and who is kind of in a life slump. There are so many great conversations in this, so love this. Next up, we have 2 volumes of Saga. These are one that I've already read. I read the digital chapters when they came out, but I still wanted to have the physical copy of this, and really happy to continue with this one. I think this is one of the first graphic novels that I read that really hooked me and got me to read more graphic novels. I love the art style and I love the characters, even though the authors and illustrators did me dirty a couple of volumes ago. If you know, you know, but I am still so here for the story. This is about a family that is very unique and it has a kind of Romeo and Juliet-esque kind of storyline in space. If Romeo and Juliet survived and had a kid. Next up, we have The Bone Shot War by Andrea Stewart. Again, this is a book that I shouldn't have bought because I still have to read the sequel to The Bone Shot Daughter. I haven't read it yet. I have this as an arc, so I wouldn't even need this in order to continue with the series if I finished the second book. But come on, these are beautiful. So beautiful, I needed it. Let's be honest, and I just need to continue with this series. This is about a kingdom where there is magic used by the emperor using bones. Sounds weird, it is. So there are these constructs that are basically just bones, and that's the way that he keeps power in his country. And the first one is about his daughter. There are other POVs that you follow. There is the cutest, most adorable animal companion in this series, and I need to keep reading this series. But at this point, I think I would need to read the first one again because I'm not sure about the plot, where it went. I know the ending, don't know much how they got there. Next, we have another sequel. We have This Cursed Light by Emily Thied. Sorry, should have looked it up. This is the sequel to This Vicious Grace, which I loved. I didn't expect to love as much as I did, and ever since then I was like, I need to know what happens to these characters. This is about a young woman who I think has a curse on her, or there's a prophecy that she will kill everyone that she kisses except for her true love or something in that direction. And the first book, it's been a while since I read it, I'm sorry. So she is marrying or is about to marry someone, and of course she can't get close to them because she would kill them. It's something along those lines. I'm sorry I butchered that synopsis. I'm really sorry. My brain is blanking right now. I remember the story, like what happened, like the action part of it. Not sure about how it all starts, like the beginning. Anyway, let's ignore my bumbling. Just read that book. This is the sequel. Really happy to continue with this one. Oh my god, the last book had these edges. Oh my god. Have you ever seen better packaging? I think not. So this is the last book. This was an impulse buy. Let's be real. I mean, most of these I've had on my radar for a long time, and I made the conscious decision to now take the opportunity to buy them. This, total impulse buy, because it's by Sebastian de Castell. This is Crucible Chaos, and this, I'm not sure if it's a standalone or the first in a series. I don't know anything about the plot, but I love his writing style. He has very unique stories that he writes, and all of his series are so different. So I'm really happy to see what this is about. A mortally wounded magistrate faces his deadliest trial inside an ancient abbey where the monks are going mad and the gods themselves may be to blame. What? Oh, The Most Heroic Mule. A thrilling, swashbuckling fantasy mystery. Oh. So if you haven't read the Greatcoats or the Spellslinger series, I've only read the first in those, and I have the rest on my shelf, so I don't know why I felt the need to get another series by him. And I have the Malevolence 7 still on my TBR that I really want to get to very soon. Why did I get a new one by him? I don't know. That's it for my haul. A lot of books have been hauled, and I now need to take the time to actually read them. Let me know down in the comments if you've read any of them, if you've seen some that are now on your TBR. Yeah, let me know which ones I should prioritize. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, remember to like it and subscribe if you want to. And until next time, I hope you have all the great reads. Bye!